Let's be real, so much of our lives are lived online. But that digital world, it can feel like a minefield filled with all these hidden traps. So today, we're going to dive deep into the world of online scams and hopefully give you the tools you need to walk through it safely. Okay, so let me ask you something. Have you ever gotten one of these messages, totally out of the blue on Telegram or maybe Facebook, offering this incredible, high-paying job that takes no effort at all? It feels just a little too good to be true, right? Well, if that sounds familiar, you are definitely not alone. A staggering 40% of students say they've been targeted by online scams. That's not just some small problem, it's practically an epidemic. Now, let's zoom out for a second. This issue is especially intense in Southeast Asia. I mean, the region's digital economy is absolutely exploding with opportunity, which is great. But all that growth has also created the perfect hunting ground for some really sophisticated scammers. And look, this isn't just my take on it. A major regional study actually calls this a systemic threat. We're talking about something that's undermining trust and putting the entire foundation of the digital economy at risk. It's a huge deal. So back to that crazy 40% number for students. Why? Well, because scammers are smart. They don't just target people at random. Nope, they go after who they think is most vulnerable. And right now, their focus is on young people. And here's the logic behind it. Students are almost always on the lookout for jobs. They're often dealing with financial pressure. Their lives are pretty much lived on social media, which makes them easy to find and research. And this is the big one. With limited work experience, it's just harder to spot the red flags. It's really the perfect storm. And this image just sums it all up, doesn't it? University life is digital life now. Think about it. From signing up for classes to joining clubs, it's all happening online. And that means the risks aren't somewhere out there anymore. They're right there on campus, in the library, even in your dorm room. All right, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. If you want to beat the scammers, you've got to learn to think like them. So we're going to crack open their playbook and break down the common plays so you can see them coming a mile away. First up, the fake job ad. This is probably one of the most common scams hitting students. And the number one absolute biggest red flag, they promise you an amazing salary for some super simple task. And get this, no interview needed. If you see that, seriously, just run the other way. Next on the list, scholarship scams. These really prey on those financial pressures we just talked about. They'll promise you thousands of dollars in aid, but there's always a catch. They just need you to pay a small processing fee first. Let me be clear, legitimate scholarships will never, ever ask you to do that. And then, of course, we have the old classic phishing. You know the one, that super urgent email from your bank or the university. But look closely. Does the sender's email address look a little weird? Is the grammar kind of messy? Are they trying to make you panic? Ding, ding, ding. Those are all the telltale signs. Okay, so far, we've been talking about these obvious threats, right? Scams coming at you from the outside. But what if I told you that's just the tip of the iceberg? That maybe the most dangerous risks aren't coming at us, but are built right into the platforms we use every single day. Let's just pause and really think about this for a second. We're so focused on spotting the bad guys. But what happens when the very design of the world we're living in online is what makes us vulnerable in the first place? When it's actually engineered to influence how we act? And this brings us to this really crucial idea, addictive or manipulative design. You know the like button, the infinite scroll, the constant notifications? These things aren't accidents. They are very carefully crafted psychological hooks designed to grab your attention and keep it, shaping your habits without you even really noticing. And this isn't just some abstract theory. When researchers in Cambodia actually explained these design tricks to students, the reaction was instant. It was this aha moment. They had felt that addictive pull from these apps for years, but suddenly they could see the machinery behind it all, the specific features designed to keep them hooked. It was completely eye-opening. So this is really what it all boils down to. Our whole idea of online risk needs to go deeper. We all worry about the obvious threats, right? Our data gets leaked, someone steals our money. But the threat we often miss is quieter. It's more subtle. It's how our data is used to gently shape what we believe, what we think, and even how we feel. Okay, I know this can all sound a bit heavy, but here's the good news. Knowledge is power. Now that we understand the whole picture, from the external scams to the internal design, we can start building our defenses. It's time to talk about how we forge our own digital shield. Look, building real digital safety isn't a one-person job. It takes what people call a whole-of-society approach. It means governments have to set the rules. Businesses have a real responsibility to design safer platforms. Community groups need to keep educating and advocating. And finally, it comes down to us, the users, to make smart, informed choices. Every single layer here is crucial. But you can start building that shield right now. Think of this as your personal toolkit. Step 1, protect. That means strong, unique passwords and using two-factor authentication on everything. Step 2, detect. Get in the habit of checking sources and looking for those red flags we talked about. And step 3, respond. Report the scams, block the accounts, and never, ever give out your personal info when you feel pressured. You know, in the end, this is so much bigger than just a few online safety tips. As the experts point out, this really needs to be seen as a human rights issue. The right to be safe, the right to have privacy, the right not to be manipulated, these are fundamental rights, and they absolutely have to apply in our digital lives too. And that leaves us with one last, really big question to think about. None of this happened by accident. The apps we use, the platforms, the algorithms, they were all designed. People made choices. And so the question for all of us is, are we demanding the right choices? Are we demanding a digital world that's designed for our well-being, and not just for our endless engagement?